Hi Taurus, welcome to your December 2021 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so many swords in all of these readings. It's like, it might be because people are feeling like they have to detach because there's so much intensity emotionally, and that's creating a bit of I don't know, excessive detachment. I don't know. Okay. The heart of the matter is the King of Swords, and this can be an aspect of you that you are kind of adopting this behavior, or it could be somebody else in your life that you're dealing with in a very in a let's just say in a more intense kind of way in December. So if it is somebody else, kings can be fathers or they can be bosses. We can say authority figures. And sometimes the authority figure can be someone who is an air sign. So the three air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And they are all signs that are connected with the intellect, and it can make a person very intelligent, but like I said earlier, very detached. And so that's where it can get a little tricky, because sometimes people like this they're not in touch with their feelings. And the king is the ultimate. So the king is really out of touch with his feelings. So if it's like a father, and here we are in December, and you're spending more time than you normally do with this individual, you may feel this sense of like it's opening up old wounds where when you were growing up, you didn't feel like your father was proud of you, that he respected you, that he loved you. And it was because of his attitude being like very distant and maybe even critical. Although this is in the upright position, it may not necessarily manifest that negatively, but there's like analytical quality, to say the least, about this type of person. And when people are like that, they just naturally evaluate things. They're always judging things. They're always like like evaluation, seeing if something is really good or not. And that can lead such types of people to do this to others. And it's not really fun to be constantly assessed or analyzed. It's not something that a lot of people want to experience. Now, this can be a boss, and especially if the boss is not very forthcoming with praise, or even communication, anything that conveys their feelings in a deep way, this person may shy away from. And that could lead you to feel like kind of unsure of yourself. Like, where do I stand? Do you like me? Are you about to fire me? What's going on? In the past position, we have the Five of Swords. Now, this can involve other people. This can be the empty victory where you do something that you shouldn't have done in order to get ahead. I don't think that in this context that that's what's happening. This is more likely slander or backbiting, gossiping. What's that term besides I can't think of that term. It's like I guess it's kind of like, dragging somebody's name through the mud, smear campaign, that kind of thing. So that I a lot of times when I see that Five of Swords, I think of coworkers, and but it could be family members. To be honest with you, it really could. Um, and what can happen is that and with the king, I sometimes think of narcissists, even in the upright position, because this person has this larger than life kind of an identity, or in your life is that you identify them in that way, and they may be like thinking that they're all powerful, or you're giving them that power, you're giving away your own power and letting this person kind of have that control. So what could be happening is reestablishing those old dysfunctional patterns when you go home for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever your holiday is, and having to deal with that all over again. There is a Venus retrograde that's happening on the 19th, and that is in Capricorn, which is a fellow earth sign to you, Taurus, coming from that ninth house. So especially if you've had some kind of overseas love, maybe that's something that, on your travels, that you reestablish, you rekindle that. But aside from that, you may be dealing with old patterns of like sibling rivalry or something like that, or other kinds of, challenges within the family. Yeah, because we have the mother here too. We've got the mother. The higher message is the Queen of Cups, and this is the mother who is like that nurturing figure, who is very psychic and very intuitive. Well, that is psychic. I meant nurturing and intuitive, and sensitive. Can also be artistic. So it might be that you were in a profession that was like teaching or something like that, and you didn't feel that you were able to be creative the way you wanted to be. So this can be a situation where you're able to go towards some kind of a creative pursuit, and kind of free yourself, because maybe you were like the King of Swords and you were kind of out of touch with your emotions because of whatever it is that you were doing. Also, the law, and with the Five of Swords, you might have been dealing with a lot of unsavory characters, like coworkers. This can also be a conflict with a person, a partner, who is not forthcoming with their feelings. You don't know where you stand. Maybe they've shut you out even. And other people, you feel like, you might even feel like there is a smear campaign against you. The kings and queens, sometimes I think of narcissists. And so therefore, that person may be playing mind games with you and keeping you guessing, keeping you in a state of constant confusion and things like that, and talking bad about you to other people. And someone may have come up to you and said, hey, look, is this true? And you realize, like, oh my gosh, this person's really trying to tarnish my image or my reputation. And that's because they want to seem like the one who is in the right, when they are the ones that are doing everything. What crosses you is the Four of Wands. And so this seems like this is more of a personal matter for a lot of you, because this is the card of, this can't, well, it doesn't, it's not always, but the card of marriage. but the happy home, it's in the challenge position, so it's obviously not that. But the challenge can also be is whether or not you understand the importance of this. It seems like, people would understand that. However, what can happen is that sometimes people are in a situation where they're used to that kind of environment. Maybe they grew up with parents who were fighting a lot, and they don't think that there's anything particularly abnormal about it. I would say a person like that would be in denial. But it's very important, I think. The Four of Wands in the upright position, reading it in the upright position would be a joyful home, a happy environment. And when it's in the challenge position, you might dread going home. You might feel this sense of like, oh, I can't stand it. It's so cold. It's so, this person isn't respectful to me. Maybe they're really treating you like you're not worth the effort. And it's just a constant degradation day after day. So looking at that and being able to value what the Four of Wands represents, and not seeing it as some kind of a fantasy, but something that a lot of people do have, can make it something that you value more than maybe you realize that you should value. What is coming in is the Tower. Now, I'm posting this video slightly later than I usually do, because usually I'm doing it before the 1st of the month, and I'm actually putting this video out on the 2nd of December. On the 4th of December, there's going to be a solar eclipse. It's going to be in Sagittarius. It's going to be in Virgos. Oh, I'm sorry. In your case, that's not. Scratch that. It's not in. I was thinking, I know I'm doing Taurus. I did Virgos before, so I was thinking in terms of that. So this, the reason I'm bringing up the solar eclipse is because, or bringing up eclipses, is because I look at the Tower as being connected to astrological events like an eclipse. That's the best equivalent that I can think of. And actually, to be honest with you, Taurus, when I first laid down that card, I was thinking about your eclipse, which happened on November 19th, which, as I record this, is not really that long ago. It's like less than 2 weeks ago. So what that can mean, even the date of the eclipse is not as important as the time around it. So the next few months may be when you see the results of that eclipse, and that is in your sign. So that is really important, because that can affect your life in a total way, in any area of your life, or in all areas of your life. In addition to that, at the time of a lunar eclipse, the sun is in the opposite house, in the opposite sign. So the sun was in that 7th house of committed partnership. So you have this hard angle occurring during that time of the eclipse between the 1st and the 7th houses. Now, this is just a general forecast, so I can't state that that's going to be the case in everybody's chart. But just in terms of these themes, it certainly is interesting. And then we look at the outcome card, and we have the Temperance card, and this is connected to Sagittarius. So timing again, that could be that solar eclipse, and that one is it's like a powerful new moon in Sagittarius, it's actually falling in your 8th house, which is the house of the metaphysical. It's the house of other people's money and things like that. And so there may be something. So yeah, I didn't think about this, but anything like inheritance related, if that's what all of this, the King of Swords can be like a judge. And maybe you've been dealing with siblings or other family members who have been very, sketchy, sneaky. And the Queen of Cups, as a higher message in a situation like that, can be that the truth of the situation at a higher level. Because you may be caught in the middle between family members. The Tower card, to me, in any situation that you're faced with, and it could be eclipse related, really doesn't matter to me, but it's this idea of something has to give. That it can't keep, if people are being sneaky and things like this, that eventually it will come out into the light. The Temperance card is about balancing the spiritual and the material. You have the material down pat, Taurus. So you have to be able to realize that there is a spiritual side to every situation, even if it was literally a fight for a will, or some kind of probate issue where money is involved. It still is a spiritual issue at the very same time. And you get to choose how you act when it comes to these things. It's not to say that in every situation you should just give up and you should just let people who are being deceptive have their little payout and realize, oh, well, it's just money. No, sometimes those people shouldn't be allowed to get away with certain things because it's getting away with bad behavior, and I understand that. But I feel like what you don't want to do in any case is lose your sense of dignity, your spiritual dignity. And, do everything with a sense of balance, with a sense of, groundedness where you need to be, and looking at it from a higher perspective when you have to. Okay, that's what I have for you, Taurus. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care.